times build character.
This isn't just a show, this is real life. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
You gotta see it before anyone else can see it.
Every second, every minute, every day.
We train for life. We got you.
And welcome back, everybody. Episode number 14, the Relentless Way podcast. Q&A, the Relentless Way. We are back for another edition of our Q&A. This time, if we remember a couple episodes back, we did a little call to action and gave everyone a heads up that we will be posting on social media to open up a forum and a place for people to ask any questions they have, from members to non-members, people near and far. So we had a nice little flurry of questions come in, and we're gonna roll with 4 or 5 of them. Again, our main point for this is to really focus on getting our conversation going, talking about things that are truly out there and that people really want to hear answers to, right?
Yeah, and just keep connecting and creating that relatability and just keep, gluing our community together. And I think it's done nothing but that. And I think we're excited to keep it rolling. So this is cool. Going into the Instagram and the social media is cool because it kind of broadens that horizon a little bit. We've been able to keep our brand growing and expanding to different, now we're tapping into our remote product, which eventually that will build some more momentum there, which will hopefully build some more interaction for people throughout our whole country, which is a really cool moment for us of growth, as well as just people who have been watching us externally and are a little excited or curious, right? As well as just people who have been with us from the beginning of time and newer people along the way. But I think it's cool because it allows us to connect as people as well with them, as well as leaders inside of the movement. So definitely nothing but good stuff, and we're excited to get it going.
Yeah, so Matt and I here, we're gonna answer these questions and obviously continue to bring conversation on. Just a reminder, if there is ever a time that you do have questions, and it's not a Q&A episode or it's not a call to action on our social media or whatever it may be, please feel free to reach out. You know where to find us. You could always give a call, stop in the facility, get our contact number if you don't have it, and reach out, shoot a text. We're always here. We're always open for any conversation, any questions, and to help and learn and grow. So
as well as too, we've brought on a lot of great guests. If you feel like you would like to be a guest and bring some great perspective and connection to other people, relatability, we would love to have that as well. And the last thing I would say is if you feel like this, what we're doing here, and you're feeling it and you're getting some good juice, we please ask to share away. Share to people that that can benefit from it, because that's what we're doing. We are over here on the Apple Music, the Spotify, as well as the YouTube. So any way that you think someone could grow and benefit and really get into it, please send it out. We would greatly appreciate that.
Definitely do it up. Share it away. So let's start off with one of our founding members. She's been with us since the beginning. Always by our sides, always there for us just as much as we're there for her. As a movement, she's definitely embedded in a strong part of the Relentless world. But Brooke Gilkis, a real good question to start it off. So her question is, how do you guys continue to always be the lighthouse to your membership / clients, even when your own lives might be going through a stormy period?
Nice. Never let down. Always on point, bro.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good question. It's well thought out. We've been working with Brooke, like Paul said, for a very long time. So we've all have gone through life together. If you think about it, lots of ups and downs. But it's definitely something. I think it's a decision first, So I think it starts with us making a decision of this is who we truly want to be and who we pride ourselves in being for ourselves first, our loved ones, and now this platform that we've opened up for people of all different walks of life. So I think it's, like I said, it starts with that decision first, and then I think from there, I think it's time in too. Like, I don't think in the beginning it was trying to figure it out. It's overwhelming. It's scary. It's a lot of anxiety, I think. But Ben Newman, who's a performance coach at a very high level of athletes as well as anyone in business or just life, he uses the term the burn. So he uses the term the burn, which is deeper than just the why. It's almost like what fuels the why. And I think when you understand that burn, it's almost undescribable, but it's a feeling inside that no matter what is going on around you, that you just, like, to me, I would never allow any of those external feelings or circumstances not allow me from achieving what needs to be done. Right. And I think it just comes down to just understanding what you're doing, who you're doing it for, and why you're doing it, and then never allowing anything to stop you along the way. I mean, I know you can add to this.
Yeah, just to say, it's like what you touched on in the beginning is that the journey that we've been through the entire journey, the Relentless Way journey with Brooke, which is cool, and there's many others just like her. So what we're finding now at this point in our journey, and as the Lighthouse has formed, is the community itself is always here for everybody. So you know, you may be the leader in the moment. I may be the leader in the moment. You know, I may be manning the Lighthouse. Coach Drew may be, Coach Pete, Coach Jenna, Coach Hillary, Coach Franco, whoever it may be. All the coaches have moments where they are manning the Lighthouse. So my thing I want to add to it is that at this point, we've created such an environment all together that it's not easy, but it's the easiest it's ever been, because we know, hey, listen, when someone walks through that door, they know what they're getting from everybody, you know? And that goes both ways, you know? It goes both ways, because you'll hear our coaches talk a lot on previous episodes of the podcast, on some of our social media posts, when they share their life, or even in person when you have, you know, when you're in a session or in a group class or whatever it may be. The coaches, it comes from the heart of how much Relentless means to them too. You know what I mean? So everyone's here for each other. I think the biggest word in that question is Lighthouse. Once it was created and once it was formed to a nice, confident, comfortable point, everybody just feels so confident being able to come back here. So, you know, a tip of the cap to everyone involved, and continuing motivation and confidence and belief, and we're going to continue to grow and strengthen even more. But I think it takes a lot of people. It takes everybody, you know, to build it up and to keep it that way. And what it does is, I guess, to give you a clearer answer on it, is it's allowed Matt and myself, and it's allowed other coaches to separate and use other time to maybe use the energy to where it needs to go a little bit more, you know, towards an individual person at the time, to make some calls, make a phone call, and as funny as it sounds, but spend 30 minutes on the phone with this person, and it's not taking away from the Lighthouse, and it's not taking away from the home base, right? So I think it's opened up creating and building our product and our service and our community and our world this way. We would never do it any different. We just want to vow to keep elevating it and growing it. So It's a beautiful thing.
And I think it's understanding who we need to be in the moment. Like, who we are to people is we are what they can't be to themselves. And I think it's a hard thing to do. But if someone comes in and they're feeling down and weak and broken, it's our job to not be like, to feed into that and be like, oh, like, I feel so bad for you and all that. It's like, it's to do the reverse and to remind them that, like, no, it's okay. Like, this is a moment in time, but this isn't who you are. It's not who that defines you. So we need to, I got to pick you up. Let's cry. Let's have a breakdown right now. Now let's get up. Let's look into my eyes and be like, yo, let's take this one day at a time and let's rebuild you. And I think it's a tough thing to do, but I think it starts with yourself always, like we always talk about. But, like, you know, we have made a vow to ourselves, and we followed through on our word to ourselves day in and day out. And it's who we are. It's we say what we mean and we mean what we say, and it's just become our DNA and our nature. And people trust and believe in that, and they are allowing us, which is it's an honor to have so many people that believe and trust and allow us to lead them. But it's all in, like you said, it's the beautiful circle now, especially at this point. We truly understand with great power comes great responsibility,
Yes.
and we're looked at a certain position, and we take that to our hearts. So now our level of dedication to self and leveling up on a moment-to-moment basis. Like for me, it's moment-to-moment. It's not like days anymore. It's seconds on seconds. It's every experience. How can we have gotten better? What can we do? Who can we connect with? Oh, you read a good book. Like it's just constantly trying to educate, grow, and elevate. And now it's just feeding off of each other, like you said earlier, not just with the team, but with the community. And it's like this beautiful mixture. So again, it wasn't always like this, but it's been just trial and error and never giving up on ourselves first, which has connected to our people, which has allowed them to allow us to lead them. And then with that said, it just has been piggybacking off of each other because of that connection with everyone. So,
and it's true empowerment. It's building confidence in each other, and all for a good cause and helping each other grow. So you kind of just answered it in the last minute or so of your what you just said there. The next question is from Brittany Rogoff. This is a good one. This is a great one too. But she says, being a perfectionist sounds great, but sometimes it really hinders progress and growth. If either of you can relate, what are some things you do to prevent this from happening? So I'm gonna continue on with that one, but as you just referred to, is that we expect so much in these moments, and we got to remember that it's just a moment in time, right? So let's go back to the question now directly. Everyone wants to be perfect, right? Whether they show it, whether they say it or not. Even people that really, really struggle, the deep down desire is that they're trying to chase and they're trying to go after a better self, or in their eyes, a perfect self, right?
Yes.
Whether they use it, so you have the choice to use it as a step to go up on, or something to sink you down, right? And no matter what way you put it, there's going to be moments that, like you just said, that you fail, that it's rock bottom, that it's the worst of the worst, right? And just saying that out loud, we all get those feelings in our stomach because we think about those moments and we're like, oh shit, like that is true. And you might get a little butterflies, you might get a little nervous, a little worked up. But then everything that you do on those other days and those other moments, day in and day out, that is what's going to lead to being better at not letting it get in your way and learning from it, And I know, we've all had the privilege of going through Brittany's journey with her as well over the last, 5-6 years or so. Matt a lot more closely, but like I said, a lot of us. Brittany is open-minded. Will go that it's for. Someone on the other side, she is the perfect person because she listens, she absorbs, she gives feedback. It's all important, So, Brittany, to also highlight you a little bit, you're asking this question, but I think also you're pretty good at finding. You've found the answer over the years deep down inside, and adjusted from understanding there's going to be moments that things aren't perfect, that things aren't. It's not about finding that perfection, it's about constantly chasing it just to help yourself get better.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly said, right? But I'll try to keep adding to it. But I mean, I think a big thing we always go off of now is something that we like to say is progress over perfection. And I think, like you said earlier, it's like, I think if I could help people shift the way that they perceive this, it would be more along the lines, like Paul said, that it's a progression, it's a process. And I think too many people get wrapped up in feeling like the end result or who they feel that is that perfect version or what should be in the end, it needs to happen at a certain timeline. And I think that's what is the part that gets people wrapped up in loss, is because life is forever moving. So I think it should be more along the lines of going through every experience throughout your day and evaluating from everything around you and saying to yourself, do I like this? Do I not like this? And the cool part is you get to take and add to yourself. It's like building a character is the way I like to look at it. So for me personally, I study all different people that I perceive to be great at something, as well as watching people that I don't like as well. And I say, okay, I want to really work to do this. I want to do this. And it's about studying and engaging and then surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. And I'm not even talking people that I know. Like a lot of the people is people that I'm admiring or looking up to. Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, study these people. And now I'm like, okay, I really like the way he speaks. I'm getting into speaking. I need to learn. So he's way better than me. Okay, cool. That's what I want to look at. I want to watch his tonage, the way that he speaks, the way he carries himself, his mannerisms. Like, but if I just stopped speaking when we started, think about when we started speaking. I would be dry heaving in the bathroom for the first year every time, gagging myself. But I did it because I knew the power that I could bring to the people, and I knew it had to be done. So I had to get over the fact it's not about me. Get over it. What am I gonna do? Sit in the bathroom and hide? No. Stand up, gag it out a little bit, take my deep breath and get out there. But the reality is this: anything you do in life and then you continue to do and you go through this experience, it becomes more natural. It becomes more regular, and it actually becomes more fun too. And that's the cool part. If you start now, I look forward to it. Like when the season ends, I sit like on Friday mornings, I'll wake up and be like, damn, it's over. Like I'm looking forward to getting it going. We take a couple weeks off, but it's amazing because I used to have anxiety the 3, 4, 5 days leading up to it and making myself all nervous and sick. And now I'm like, it's the same feeling. And they always say anxiety and excitement are the same. Yeah. It's how you perceive what's happening. So now I'm getting that same feeling, but I'm like, wait, what am I feeling? I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like I can't wait to get up in here and put some good stuff out into the world. So I think ultimately it's about understanding who you truly want to become, and that could keep changing as well. That's the scary part, and that's okay. And then being real with yourself and reflecting on who you truly are in this given moment, like real, like factual, sober assessment, we call it, like being real with yourself, and then saying, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. What do I need to do? Who do I need to meet? Who do I need to talk to? What are the books and what do I need to do? And then you just start sucking all this stuff in, and the next thing you know, you start becoming that individual, that next version of yourself. So really great question. I think it's something that we're really trying. I think we've all evolved into this together, really. Like, again, Britt has been with us for a very long time. So I think a lot of these conversations that we've all embodied is us never giving up on working to become that next best self, but then really working on the ways to deliver it and how to put it together, and then also how to create almost like a path, like a GPS path, right? You plug an address in. This is the final, this is where we are, and this is how we're going to get there. So I think we as a whole, the Relentless team and the movement and the brand on which it stands for, has the best products, deliveries that it could ever have to be able to take an individual to that point. So that's really exciting as well for us. So
a question I'm going to throw a question in there for us in the midst of this. How and when do we get to that point, or how and when do you get to that point where you have the ability to separate and to kind of like coach yourself?
Yes.
Right?
So I love that. Great question.
That's the point that I feel like everyone needs to get to and is trying to get to. And again, it's never perfect. It's forever changing and growing and taking steps forward, hopefully. Or sometimes you have to take a couple steps back. But that's what I think of, is like that's what goes through people's heads. Like, am I there? How do I get there? How do I keep myself there? To the point when you can step back and make that sober assessment, when you can reflect truly and honestly. Almost like the ability for you to keep your mind and your body where it's at, and be that other person next to you, and put yourself, in the position of watching you. It's challenging. It's you'll never have the true point of view and perspective of that person. So me sitting here right now, I'll never truly know the 100% perspective of how you are perceiving what I'm saying, what I'm doing, with the thoughts that are going through your heads.
Right.
The best that I can judge is the actions that you are taking towards me right now, right? The words that you are saying. But at the end of the day, the goal is to try to make yourself the best assessor, to make yourself the best coach, to not only for me to do that to you right now, right? But for you to be able to do it to yourself, because when you could do that, then you're open-minded. Then when I say stuff to you, you either already have assessed it on your own, or you're willing and open to learn and grow from it, right? And accept it.
Well said. I'm going to go first. I'll start off with what you said. I think when you get to the point where you know who you are in this moment. Like for me, is I am who I am today, but I'm being led by my future self on a day-to-day basis. So that future self is the one who says when I don't want to, I really don't ever not want to work out anymore because it's become something that I know caters to me as a human. But I am tired. I'm still a human being. I feel those moments. But so in those moments, it's me saying, no, like you have to do this. You have to do this one more rep. You have to finish. So it's the future me coaching the current me, because this me is saying, look what you are going to become. If you finish this, you become this. If you finish this, you become this. And now it's about stacking those moments on top of each other. And the next thing I would say that it comes down to being a competitor. Like life is a competition. The sooner you realize it, the better. Because number one, you should be competing to constantly become the next best version of yourself. That's what life is, right? Like you don't want to be the same person you were at 10 or 20, 30. Like you should always grow. Like why would you want to be the same at any point? It should be evolution.
You don't want to be making the same mistakes. You don't want to be doing the same bad stuff, you know?
So I think when it comes down to when you realize that you're competing, right? And this is why if you go all the way back to our first season, we did one on would you rather win or would you hate to lose, right? And I think for me, it's always been understanding both of them, and that's my secret juice, right? So the reason why I use the hate to lose is my nasty, gritty persistency that if you knock me down 10 times, I'm getting up 11. And that's where I will keep getting up, and I understand that every time I get up, I need to be a different person. I want to lay there for a second, right? I want to sit there for a second. I want to feel. I want to think about what just happened. Why did I get knocked down? I need to be in that moment. I need to replay it. I need to say it. And then when I stand back up, I'm different, okay? Because I've assessed, I've understood, and I've remembered, and I'm not going to do any of that stuff again. Then I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to my closest loved ones, the people I trust the most, and look at you and say, yo, what do I need to do? Like, I'm going to take what I assess from that. I'm also going to ask people I trust.
Right.
Then the next part of that is my love to win is my ability to step into unmarked territories, do new things, and to become the best that I can be at them. Like, I'm not just doing this stuff with the speaking just to do it. Like, I'm doing this to be the greatest in the world at it now.
Right.
Like, we will carry this name and we will go change people's lives throughout the world. So now I can't just go nilly-willy. Now what do? I want to win, so I study great speakers. So it's like, it's the understanding of like, what do you want to do? And then what do you need to get there? And you need to learn from not only yourself, but other people who have already done it. And you also need to trust people that you love to get some external criticism. And from there, it's also being able to be unemotional and understand that like this, and that's why it's important to know where you're going to, right? But know it's all coming out of goodness. You take all that, you harness it, you reflect, you envision. I believe in envisioning a lot to replay and get ready and prepare. And then you attack and you do it again. And then you just keep repeating that. And then after a while, right, to come full circle, after a while you understand that's the process. It's an equation. And if you just keep repeating it, now it's not even like, it just is what it is. It's just what we're doing. So it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like we're competing and we're having fun. And it's much more effortless, actually. It's like, this makes sense.
What always kind of, I could never understand because either there was a moment where I recognized it and then got past it, you know, at a earlier time in my life. When this is when people really see the struggle, and we hope to help with it, is when people go to other people that they know what the answer that they know the answer they're going to get from them and what it is. You know what I mean? I think
in a bad way.
Yeah. I think that's like when people do a disservice to themselves.
Yes.
And we talk about this a lot, especially at a point in our life where we're at. You know, you're through your younger adult life. You learn a lot about yourself. You truly know what you're looking for. And when people go to other people, and it's that constant person when you're like, oh well, I talked to this person about it and they said this, and you're in your head you're just like. I'm not saying you have to come to me every time or go to you every time, but you should want to go to the person that's going to give you the realest shit, and that's going to give you the real answer of what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. You know, and I think if you could assess and see if you're doing that, that's a big step for everyone in their life, you know, or in any moments, you know. The person that knows that if I go to, it's like mom and dad, right? If I go to mom for this, they're gonna give me the answer I want. I'm gonna be able to stay out tonight. If I go to dad for this and I want this for dinner, he's gonna say yes, but mom's gonna say no. But people do that with everyone in their life, and I watch closely, you know, because we assess people. We, you know, we coach people up. We help people grow. That's just what we do in our everyday life. We keep our eye, and we make the best judgment we can based off the knowledge and the practices that we've had in our life, and fair too. You know, that's what we shoot for. But sometimes I sit there and I'm like, you idiot! Like you're gonna keep bumping your head if you keep putting it against the wall. You know what I mean? Like, it's just as simple as that. You're going and asking the same person for the same advice over and over, and they might know how to do it themselves, but for whatever reason, they're not putting it out to you, or they don't have the guts to tell you what you really need to hear. You know?
And I mean, that's such a good point. I could honestly say, and I'm proud of this at this point, but you know, most people in my life, either when they're not in a good place, they avoid me because they know that I'm bringing the truth and I'm just bringing heat, which is, you know, it's a funny feeling, right? Because then the other side of it is like, when they're truly in their darkest moment is when my phone rings.
For sure.
So like, I like that, right? People know I don't waste time. My time is, I'm on, like, I don't do like small talk stuff. Like I'm very present in what I'm doing. Everything has a purpose. And if you reach out to me, I'm just going to give it to you. Cause like, that's who I believe I need to be, as I need to be. Right. And listen, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I worked on my delivery, right? I'm going to give you that real shit like you said, but you know you're going to get it when you call me. So you either don't call me or you call me when you're ready, right? And I love that, and I'm proud of that, and I think that unfortunately there's less of that than there should be in this world, and I think that's what we're on a mission to do, and I think you and I have learned so much by being able and being blessed to be surrounded by people who have been either around or have done similar things that we have perceived to do in our lives, and they want to give us that real shit because they do love us and they do care about us, and we have learned so much from it. And at this point, again, I say, like, it's like repetitions, like anything else, like working out your muscles. If you repeat and you evolve and you focus on something, your muscles grow, right? Same thing with your mental and emotional strengthening. Like, it hardens and you learn how to deal with stuff and you get over it and you move on, and it comes down to how bad do you really want it. That's what I would tell people to sum it all up. How bad do you really want it? Because I want it bad, right? You want it bad. We've sacrificed our entire lives to it. We've gone through things that we never could even imagine we were going to go through in the beginning, but we keep getting up, we keep learning, and we keep evolving, and we will continue to do that. And the cool part about that too is, we've talked about this, we just have a new addition to our team, right? The processes that we have been creating now, because we don't want to waste our time, is allowing us to really siphon through anything that doesn't belong to be in the circle of character. That's where we're at. We're at human character is what we base what we want to bring into our team to build that culture up and add to it and our core values. And that, everything else is teachable. Education is teachable, but who you are as a person, what you stand for, what your morals, ethics, and values are, that might not be able to, right? Like, you got to really try to work with that one. So with that said, I think it's about truly understanding what you want, how bad you want it, what are you willing to do. I always like to say within good morals and ethics, because that's where you should be. But what are you willing to do and give up and sacrifice, meaning energy, time, sleep, eating, like crazy things that could come with the dedication and devotion to becoming that next self. And if you truly start going through that process, you realize that it's a moment in time, like we said earlier, and you will get through it. And when you do get to the other side, you're like, like, this feels good. I made it, right? You're like, and then all of a sudden you start embracing those moments and you're like, okay, let's see what we can do with this. And then it becomes fun. Now we're having fun. Like, things come to us, we're like, all right, let's figure this out. It's not like even, we used to have emotional swings. Like, our emotional swings are pretty even keel now, and it's more just like, okay, it's not a problem, it's a situation, like in Jamaica, right? I love that stuff. Like, we don't have a problem, it's just a situation, and we're gonna fix it.
And that's what we do here, you know. So again, it's become more of our way of life and just the relentless way. So next we have from When Pigs Fly _RJ from Ralph Johnson on the Instagram feed. How are you able to deliver the same message to members of different ages, ability, and potential? And, you know, we've heard on previous episodes how Matt and Ralph's journey has been. So to reflect back on his exact experience with that, you could check out, you know, our episode called When Pigs Fly, which was earlier this season. But ultimately, this is a great question. This is what we pride ourselves in now. So this is it's cool that I'm excited we get to highlight this a little bit, that we pride ourselves in all walks of life, in dealing with anyone that walks through the door for, whatever they need as far as to better themselves or to be strengthened more, lifted up physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I think, there's a lot that goes into that, right? There's a lot that we put into that as a team. There's a lot on the back end of how we approach this stuff. It's not just letting our personalities and what we do take over. It's very intentional how we approach that,
Yeah, I think it starts from the beginning of the time of why we got into the movement and got going, which was to bring back quality-based fitness at first. So it was more along the lines of just giving a product to people that they were truly searching for, which kept risk of injury low and results high. And to not just put out a quantity-based product for everyone, or a very cheap product for everyone. We really wanted to bring to people what they were looking for, which was to get better and not get hurt and to know what to do, right? And then also to be in a great atmosphere. So over time that has evolved. It started with us just giving out workouts and fitness, right? And then as we've grown through our entrepreneurial life journeys as men as well, we realize that there's a lot more to this than just working out and being a performance athlete, which we still pride ourselves in our ability to perform and to work with those types of people. But as we started growing, we realized that there's a bigger coliseum out there, I like to call it, which is the coliseum of life, right? And as we kept going through, we realized that we're playing on a much bigger field. We thought we were playing on the baseball field or the football field or the lacrosse or all these different things that we work with, right? We're on these fields. And then as we grew in life, we're like, wait a second. All these little fields are on the big field, right? And I think that was the beginning of the separation for us, which it was cool because it happened probably about a year before the pandemic happened or so, a year and a half even, of when we started shifting and we got that sign made on our wall and it says, "We train for life." So I would like to say that we were way ahead of the curve, right? Which we were, but the ability to really put people's heads down and say that this is so much bigger than just the aesthetics and having muscles and how I feel, but it's how you truly are as a whole human being, and how that when you take time to better yourself on a day-to-day basis, mentally, physically, and emotionally, that carries over into your personal and professional life and allows you to grow as a human being. So I think for us, it was opening it up so big to say that we're all training for life, right? Doesn't get bigger than that. So now that's at the top here. Now, the next step was us being able to individualize who we are working with in front of us. Nothing is a quantity, nothing is cookie cutter, nothing is the same. It's about addressing that individual and giving them the greatest product that they could ever have in this journey.
Core value, connecting on a personal level.
Right, and then from there, right, it's truth. From there, it's about letting them know that we have what they need to get to the other side, right? We have all this stuff, and it's about making them feel confident, making them feel safe, making them trust, and then making them feel that loyalty and sustainability that this is a forever thing and we're not going anywhere, and we are a stable, consistent lighthouse no matter what is going on through your life.
At the base of it all is, at the base of everything that Matt is going over now, is the true passion and want and will for us as coaches and as leaders from the top down to want to truly help people. And that becomes the challenging part too, because a gift and a curse for us along the way, especially at the top, has been wanting to give everyone an opportunity. And when we say opportunity, we're not just talking about our team, we're talking about our members as well, because it is an opportunity to be part of this movement and part of this mission, right?
Truth.
To give everyone our time, to help everybody, to also be part of everything, because we know that we could bring value to things. So even on the higher end, if we do see something that is rising and is growing, you could believe us if you want, but it just naturally how we've always approached everything is like, we're going to be in it for the love and passion of things, right? A lot of times people are on the rise and people just jump on to be a part of it and be included, right? We truly assess situations that we want to be a part of. You know, if something's growing, if other movement's growing, we don't just hop on because it's growing. We hop on because we truly care and love about it, and we have the passion to want to watch it and help it grow. So at the base of it all is that, you know, and that goes back to our hiring process and to our onboarding process. With our system that we've created and with our just the Relentless Way, the title of our podcast, the way that we operate, the way that we live, it works itself out. This movement and this mission truly finds people that deep down have that want and that will, and again, that could be anybody. So I think that's the beauty of it, is it's driven from, more so now than ever, our entire team, especially, the last 4 or 5 coaches that have joined the movement have gone through the process the way they have, as well as the last members that have joined the movement the last year or two, right? It is as clean as it's ever been, knowing that it's true want and will to help people grow and to help people evolve and be in it together. The selfishness is more than ever out the door, in a negative way. Mm-hmm. The all about me is out the door. The PRs are working their way out the door. The shooting for these certain records and milestones are out the door, right? In a nice way, calculated way, right? So we're starting. We have filtered it out, and we see it more than ever, because when you go along our line of coaches and members, everyone is speaking more of the same language, and that is the universal language of love, building, growing, passion, and just getting better. So that is where it starts, and that's where it will continue to grow from. That is the base. That's the base. That is the seed of our plant, and that's where it is for us right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to that as well, to go deeper, to complement our team, like Paul's speaking on, is like over the past year and a half, it's probably 2 years now, but an addition that we've brought on is Jack Cole, our experienced director, who has really helped glue our team, our community, and the whole brand together very beautifully. And some of the things for everyone to understand that we've done is we put work in as a team to truly understand the different type of human beings that we are dealing with. We take pride in understanding all different walks of life and different levels of humans and how to address them. So we've done a lot of deep psychological work together as a team to understand and narrow down the different types of humans that we are working with. We've talked and led our coaches and our team on different ways to engage with them, different ways to challenge them, and different ways to retain them, because when you break down a different individual and how they perceive things and how they're approaching and their understanding and their perception on a gym or fitness, right? It's understanding where they're truly coming from, and then it's our job to take them who they are and then mold them and nurture them and grow them, like you just said before, was so well said. All those things is exactly what this whole movement is founded on. It's the foundation. Now it's about trying to give everyone the greatest experience that we can. Right. So by doing that, to go back to the question, is we are performance coaches that work with all different walks of life, from athletics to business to life, where it all settles, right? And it's our job to understand that every single person is different. And the better that we can understand each of them and who they are and why they're doing this, is the better that we can help them become their best self. Sure. So I think it's been a beautiful growth over these years, especially over the past 2 years, that has allowed us to be able to do what Ralph's question is, to the best of our ability that we've ever had.
Awesome. Great stuff. Great questions. We obviously continue to remind you how much we appreciate it. Gives us the fuel to be able to, get this discussion out and get it going. So we have another good one from someone who was connected with us from growing up to Pain in the Pines, an intricate part of being back there, helping us build and literally helping us build stuff and make it work, and also coming and working out with us back there. And is always comes back to Relentless, and he's truly relentless, inside and out. And we know that. I'll always be a part of the movement. Is Joe Arneth, a real close friend of ours. He hit us up on the DM on Instagram, and he said, "What has the Relentless team learned about themselves from their experience so far in their journey?" This is great. This is a moment where, I think Matt and I could take time to highlight our personal selves. We could sit here as we have and speak for our team and for Relentless as a whole. But I think it's important to hear again in a different way and remind everyone listening and everyone involved, is that we both sit up here and we put this podcast out not to hear ourselves talk, it's obviously does its justice promotionally, and it spreads the word and the love, but that's not our sole mission at all. Our sole mission was to carry on from our discussion groups, to just be a voice for listening ears to be on and to take in,
and to stay vulnerable,
right.
and to stay relatable.
Right.
It's just to keep the people knowing that we're people, but we're just doing our thing as well. This is who we are, is what we do.
Right. So to stay, just to stay connected, and but also at the same time, on the other end, remember, this fulfills us. This is us. It's embedded in us. It's in our blood. It's in our lives. We don't just operate this way when we're in front of this camera, on these microphones, inside the facility, on a phone call when it's connected to Relentless. We operate this way, or we strive to operate this way to the best of our ability, and continue to grow and better that every single second of our life. And again, that does trickle down our team, but we're going to focus on us in this moment. So for me, what Relentless has meant to me, and what I've learned along the way about myself, is many things. I learned that at certain points in my life, I maybe didn't have as much patience as I would like, right? I maybe wasn't as open-minded, I wasn't as open-minded. I needed to take care of myself in certain points in my life better than I did, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Many moments along the way in growth of relationships, of building a family, of building a home, whatever it may be. That's where a lot of the truest lessons have come from me, from the other side, from the people that are in front of us every day, from the clients that have been through this stuff, or the Relentless community members who have been through this stuff, for people in our network, from other businesses to entrepreneurs to just your everyday person that punches the clock and goes to work every day. I have learned so much from there, right? I have learned just as much, if not more, from those moments and those things than I have from running the business and Relentless, right? For a lack of better words. So I think that's how I want to answer the question, and I'm sure everyone would love to hear your end too. But ultimately, those were my moments of growth, and it's going to continue, and I know it, and that's what I'm very excited for. I know there's plenty of more chapters and plenty of more pages to be turned in my life and in my story and my journey, and I am in the strongest place I've ever been to me putting my stamp on it, but I wouldn't be there without all of these things that we've learned and experiences from the people of the other end. So I want to take this moment to thank all of our clients, our members, our family, our friends, anyone that has been involved in the Relentless movement, but the movement of the Relentless Way, Paul Alvier, and all the learnings and doings that have been put forward in those moments. So
beautiful. Very well said. I'm going to take a second first. Like you opened up talking a little bit about Joe Arnett, Joey Pump. I'm going to real quick just go back to the beginnings of time in high school when this kid was, he's a little older than us, about 2 years older than us, and I remember being a sophomore on the varsity football team, and he was a part of our 12-0, undefeated, state champion, vicious, grown man football team, which I'd never seen senior men like this ever before in my life. They were just a breed of men amongst boys, and they were vicious, they competed, they played to win, and that's what they did. They were at a whole different level, and I think being a part of watching that was unbelievable at that time. I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what I was a part of. I was just there, and I was literally playing scout. I was a dummy. I was getting banged every single day on the floor as hard as it can be, playing tough positions, going against big guys. Our scout team is the team that practices against the varsity, the big team. They were dwindling away, but for me, it was taught me so much about myself as well. So like in that moment was the beginnings of kind of understanding who I was deep down, because my pride started kicking up, right? Like I knew every day that I look at these guys, I'm just like, what am I going to do to these guys? But for some reason, I kept showing up and putting my head down and running at them, right? And I get knocked up, get up, and these guys guys started respecting. They had respect, right? But they were doing their thing, and it's cool now because if we see these guys, we've seen some of these guys later on in life now, cool, and it's respectable. You know, those moments stay with you forever. But the one big shout out I give to those guys is I wish that could come back into the world today because that's what we need. Like there's winners and losers, and just because, like, in that moment I was less, right? But I showed up every day and I got better though, and I kept getting better, and I would never want those moments to be any different because it helped make me the man I am today. So that's just a little history of how we know Joe back in the day. But then moving forward now to come to the question here would be, I think the movement has taught me how to focus on solutions over problems. I think to work to be the answer for people in their darkest moments. I heard a great quote recently from Nick Saban, one of the winningest coaches of all time, and he's a big person who his big quote is to be the example. So I think in the beginning of the journey, as I was giving of myself like too much in a way of like I sacrificed myself basically. I wasn't working out. I was giving everything of myself just to keep the movement going, which looking back, it was what had to happen, but I probably could have did a little bit better. But I think what the shift was for me was to take ownership and to truly be the example and to focus on myself first. And if I took care of myself first, that would mean that I am giving the best version of myself to everyone else after. So it turned from, as Paul and I always speak on, we've shifted dramatically over the past few months of stop trying to push and to rather pull. And what that is that happened for us organically throughout, where in the beginning, we believed that if we saw a little bit of good or a little bit of potential inside of an individual, we thought that we could kind of really dig in there and pull it out and almost like force them. We had nothing but good intent. I always have good intent, but it was like, if that person doesn't see the vision or doesn't believe in themselves becoming that, it will never work because I can't force or want you to be something greater than you want for your own internal self. So what happened in that moment now was, rather than pushing people to be something maybe that they don't even want, it turned to us taking all that energy and focusing on ourselves now and making sure that we take time every single day in and day out to enhance ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. So anytime someone comes to us and does need us and needs a certain version of us, we're able to switch that hat on and be what they need to be in that given moment. And I think what that has done is dramatic things for ourselves and for our team as well as our community, because it's creating a new standard. The new standard is selfish first, selfless second. And what that truly means is you need to make time. If you don't make time, time will outrun you, right? There's 168 hours in the week. You focus on creating the time, making the time to take care of yourself first, and then you could go be that selfless version of you, whether it's being the son, daughter, husband, wife, whatever it is in that moment who you need to be, you're the best version of it.
And so, some of our greatest moments in growth for ourselves and for our team have come from stories and in the line of Joe Arnett and situations just of that. You know, we see the passion, we see the love of life, the competitiveness, the will to get better in so many people, and I think that's what is the greatest gift that we give off to our team and we pull out of our team members and coaches. And as Matt said, you know, focusing on pulling more and leading more and not pushing people and forcing things is has been an unbelievable switch of energy for us, you know. So awesome! It's cool hearing us or Matt highlight, you know, the glory days and going back, you know, to JMHS and Jagland and just kind of where it all came from, you know, where it all started for someone like Joe, but also how it really involved, as much as he hasn't been in the facility maybe as much as other members along the way. He always knows where home is. He always knows where to come back to, and we see that in a lot of members. So that the value that Matt is saying that the movement has brought to him is attributed to stories just like Joe, you know.
And I'm going to add real quick to what Paul just said, because for the fact of the matter of him knowing where his home always is means so much to us. And I think the gap that we're closing with all different walks of life and all different upbringings is you take this kid who lived such a competitive life, constantly competing from his young years all the way to the time that he's 18 years old, And then he did play college ball as well, but you go into the world, and I think the world needs that competitive nature. Like, life is competition. You're constantly trying to compete and grow, whether it be to be a better version of you, as well as grow inside of your company, your corporation, whatever it is, so that you could be more. And I think what we've been able to do really well, especially as of recently, is to bring out that competitive nature, and that it's okay. It's okay. Like, it's cool to compete with someone next to you in a good way, in a positive way, to pick them up and make each other feel like, hey, we're all attacking life. It's really hard. There's a lot of ups and downs, but hey, we come here, we let it out, and then we get back out and we keep playing ball on a fresh new day tomorrow. So it's an honor to be able to be that for Joe, and we're super grateful for that opportunity.
For sure. And as we get better and more mature with it and understanding people, and we continue to grow ourselves, that you could set everything up for people. You could, put them in the right position, and we're learning that too, that like Matt said before, it can't be forced, There's certain moments that maybe we wanted a little more than them because we see the value and we see the ability that people have, but we have to step back and realize that, hey, like, it's just not the time for them, but it will come, Mm-hmm. So last question coming up, again from Instagram, a longtime member of ours through the family, Kelly Zarnowski, brought in by her mother Joanne Zarnowski and her sister Christina. Awesome family, hard workers.
Great people.
Yeah, great people, amazing people. Her question is a good finisher for us to close episode 14 out. What can we expect for the year to come that's new from Relentless Fitness and Training?
Oh, great question. I think to simplify it down is just like, Relentless has leveled up as a brand completely. So from top to bottom. And I think for us right now, it's about tying up the loose ends of this year, and using the momentum that we've created through the connection with our community, obviously, but also our team, and how we've grown so much inside of our culture, our core values, and just really operating as one. And it's a really exciting feeling. It's been a long time coming for us to build, and to get to this point of such fluidity. So I think it's exciting to enjoy and be present in this time of the holidays and all these things coming up. But we're really preparing to release some just good, hard, head down work ethic starting in January, leading into that summer, and we have a lot of really cool things. We have built up our remote program. We have our satellite location in Bradley that will be getting released as well. We have our youth program that has been emerging, and just overall growth in speaking engagements and different leadership and overcoming adversity, possibilities for Paul and myself to step out into the world as well, constantly connecting and building different networks. So just pushing forward, like just turning it up. Like, I think that we are going to finish this year at the highest level that Relentless has ever operated, and I think we're going to start the year at a whole new different level and just keep taking it up from there. So
for sure. And to reflect a little bit first, a lot of credit to some other, or the other leaders within our team, from all of our coaches that stand next to us in the trenches every day, to Jack Cole, someone that has been on this podcast and has really helped us with our whole experience as the director of all that, and most importantly, the reflection is of the open-mindedness of everybody taking on moments to reflect themselves, to absorb new information, to be open-minded, to take on new things, to grow. The ability to do that has been created because we have put, like Matt mentioned, our system and our standards and our core values in the best place. So that's going to allow us to really hit our stride best we've ever had into the new year and moving forward. And as Matt mentioned, with some great things, the ability for us to spread our team out, and not too thin, but put them in strong positions to be successful, such as Brian and Jenna over in Bradley. They're going to be kind of two of the main faces over there, but everyone obviously is going to have their fair share of help. Coach Evan really growing the youth program a lot. You'll see a lot of cool things. We have a camp going on in December in the next week or so that he's getting going, a little 2-day camp. Who else? Coach Leah really heading up the remote
Yeah.
program and pulling on a lot of members there from outside, connecting with the social media world and the world from California to Florida, all over the country.
Her and Drew taking the movement glossary. Enhancing that
to the next level, and it's a lot of stuff, and that's what it takes a village. It takes a lot of us, and it's a lot of stuff, and we're not gonna, we'll never hide behind that. But we put this stuff in front of us every day on purpose, intentionally, because we know we can handle it, and we know it's not going to be easy. And a video you shared with me just today from David Goggins, right, about balance. So when you're really trying to accomplish something, and you're determined and your head's down, you don't look for balance so fast, because that's not the reality of it. The reality of it is you're searching for that balance. So that balance is the perfection. As David mentioned somewhere in that quote or in that sentence, like, don't do yourself a disservice. Know that it's going to feel unbalanced when you put your head on the pillow some nights, and that's okay, because that gives you something to attack the next day, and forever that should be the way to go. So a lot of cool stuff coming up in the new year, years to come, months to come, days to come. Our team is just growing rapidly. We just added on another coach you'll be seeing in the facility a lot more. Coach Juice, Julie Malazzo. So awesome crew we got going on. It's fun. It's like we say, we don't punch the clock. We come in and we love what we do every day as leaders, and we hope you guys are enjoying it, right? And we're always open for anything.
Yeah, and I think too, just to add to what Paul said in the beginning, is that we're forever grateful to the loyalty and the belief in us, and allowing from our members and our team to always believe and try new things and give it a go. And I think we've been on the forefront of that because of the experiences that we had since we are little, of just trying things and figuring it out. And I think the feeling of knowing that our people that are behind the movement from the community, as well as the team that is willing to give it a go with us and go every day and try new things and shift, like you said before, like, that is the best it's ever been, and we're forever grateful for that. And I think we're not going to stop till we get the compound. I believe it's for ourselves as well as everyone else that is involved in this movement. We want to give you the greatest place to go and cater to yourself. So We're not going to stop till we get there. These are all stepping stones. If you ever have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please bring them to us. But we are slowly taking the game over one day at a time. So, again, forever grateful.
Thank you all for your questions. Awesome questions, as always. We appreciate you guys responding to that call of action on social media, and giving a shout out to us, and answering asking some great questions that we can answer. Episode number 14, the Relentless Way podcast. Q&A, the Relentless Way, is how we love to do it. Thank you again. Catch us on Spotify, on Apple Music, and Amazon Music. Share with your friends, share with your loved ones, anyone that you think this can help for any day of the week, even just a couple words for them to listen to on their car ride or during their workout. So thanks again. We will catch you next time.
Let's get it.